1942, Eastern Front. The Soviet Union is desperate. Nazi Germany is advancing, cities are burning, millions are dying. Stalin approved an insane plan. Send women into combat in wooden crop-dusting planes at night with no guns against the Luftwaffe. Everyone thought it was suicide, but for 3 years, these women flew 23,000 combat missions, sometimes 8 missions in one night, sometimes 18. They rained bombs on the Germans. The Nazis were terrified. They heard a wooshing sound in the darkness, like witches on broomsticks. Then boom, bombs falling. They called them Nachthexen, night witches. These women flew Polikarpov Po-2 biplanes, made of wood and canvas, maximum speed, 94 miles per hour. No parachutes, no radios, no guns. Just 2 women per plane, a pilot and a navigator, and a bomb load. Their tactic was brilliant. Cut the engine at altitude, glide silently over German lines, drop the bombs, restart the engine, escape before anti-aircraft fire. The Germans couldn't hear them coming. By the time they heard the whoosh, it was too late. 23,000 missions, 3,000 tons of bombs, 30 women killed. The most famous, Nadezhda Popova, 852 missions. After the war, the Soviets used them for propaganda, then forgot them. The West never knew they existed until the 2000s, when their story finally came out. This is the story of Stalin's night witches, the most badass women warriors you've never heard of. June 22, 1941, 4 a.m. Operation Barbarossa began. Nazi Germany attacked the Soviet Union, 3 million German soldiers, 3,000 tanks, 2,000 aircraft, front width 1,800 miles, from the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea. The first days, disaster. The Soviet army was unprepared. Stalin hadn't believed the attack would come. Hitler wouldn't dare fight me. The Germans advanced. Soviet air forces were destroyed. Thousands of planes annihilated on the ground. First weeks, 2 million Soviet soldiers dead, wounded, or captured. Stalin was in a panic. Kremlin meetings. We need more men, more planes, more tanks. But the Soviet Union was running out. Men were going to the front. Factories were being bombed. Food was running out. October 1941. The Germans were 20 miles from Moscow. Winter was coming, but Stalin didn't know. Could he hold? At that moment, a famous female pilot came to the Kremlin. Her name, Marina Raskova. Marina Raskova was already a legend in 1938. Soviet Air Force navigator, set long-distance flight record. Moscow to Far East, 3,700 miles. Her plane crashed. She walked through the taiga for 10 days, was rescued, received Hero of the Soviet Union Award, first woman. The Soviets promoted her as the Soviet Amelia Earhart. October 1941, Marina Raskova requested a meeting with Stalin. Stalin accepted. Marina entered the Kremlin. She presented her proposal. Comrade Stalin, let women fight. Give us planes. We'll prove ourselves. Stalin laughed. Women in combat against the Luftwaffe? Impossible. Marina didn't back down. We have thousands of female pilots, trained, ready. They've been flying in aero clubs for years. Give us a chance. Stalin thought about it. He was desperate. The Germans were winning. He had to try everything. Maybe women would boost morale. Maybe there was propaganda value. Maybe they could actually fight. Stalin agreed. Fine. You'll create 3 all-female air regiments, every position female. Pilots, navigators, mechanics, commanders, everything. Prove yourself. Marina cried with joy. She left the Kremlin, and immediately started working. 3 all-female regiments were established: 586th Fighter Aviation Regiment, fighter planes Yak-1, 587th Bomber Aviation Regiment, daytime bombing P-2, 588th Night Bomber Regiment, night bombing Po-2, the 588th Regiment, the Night Witches. It would become the most famous. Marina Raskova requested planes for the 588th Regiment. Soviet command: "We can't give you the best planes. We need them, but you can have these." They showed her Po-2 biplanes. Polikarpov Po-2, designed in 1928. For crop dusting, agricultural spraying, training aircraft, wooden frame, canvas covering, 2 wings, biplane. Specifications: maximum speed, 94 miles per hour, 152 kilometers per h. Cruise speed, 68 miles per hour, wingspan, 36 feet, length, 26 feet, crew, 2, pilot in front, navigator in back, open cockpit. Armament, none. Radio, none. Parachutes, too heavy, usually none. Bomb capacity, 6 bombs, maximum 440 pounds. When the women saw the planes, they were shocked. "We're supposed to fight in these?" One pilot: "These are flying coffins. 1 bullet and they'll burn." Another pilot: "The Luftwaffe will shoot us down before we even see them." Me, 109S, fly at 370 miles per hour. We fly at 94. But their commander, Yevdokia Bershanskaya, rallied them. "Listen, yes, these planes are slow. Yes, they're wood and canvas, but we have one advantage: we'll fly at night. The Germans won't see us. Their radar can't detect planes this small. Their searchlights can't catch us. We maneuver too quickly. And most importantly, we can cut the engine. We can glide silently. The Germans won't hear us coming. By the time the bombs hit, it'll be too late." The women understood. These planes weren't a weakness, they were a tactic. There was another problem. Po-2s were very small, even for women. Pilots put cushions under their feet to reach the pedals. When winter came, clothing was so thick they barely fit in the cockpit, and they dropped bombs manually. The navigator sat in the back, bombs under her knees. When they reached the target, she threw the bombs out by hand. Precise work, wrong timing, they could hit their own plane. Training began. In the city of Engels, on the Volga. Winter 1941, minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Planes freezing, engines not starting. Women waking up at 5 a.m., heating the planes, flight training, helping with repairs in the evening. Average age, 20. The youngest was 17. Most came from aviation clubs. In the 1930s, civilian aviation was popular in the Soviet Union, but none had seen combat. May 1942. Training complete. 588th Night Bomber Regiment ready. 40 planes. 80 female crews. Pilot plus navigator. 200 plus mechanics, armorers, support personnel. All women. Commander, Yevdokia Bershanskaya, 27 years old, experienced pilot, would command for the entire war. Most famous pilot, Nadezhda Popova, 19 years old. Her home had been bombed by Germans, her brother killed. She wanted revenge. They were sent to the front. Destination, Eastern Front, North Caucasus. The Germans were advancing. The Soviets were trying to stop them. The Night Witches were going to war. June 1942, first mission. Target, German positions, North Caucasus. 40 planes ready, 10 p.m. Darkness. Nadezhda Popova climbed into her plane. Behind her, navigator. Katya Ryabova, 18 years old, her best friend. Bombs loaded, 6 small bombs, total 440 pounds. Engines started. Vroom. Po-2s were very loud. Engine right behind, open cockpit, deafening. Takeoff, one by one. 40 planes in the air, flying toward German lines. 3,000 feet altitude, target approaching. Nadezhda cut the engine. Silence. Only the sound of wind. Canvas wings making a whoosh, gliding. In darkness, silently. German positions below, fires, tents, trucks visible. Katya prepared the bombs. 6 bombs under her knees, over the target. Now! Katya threw the bombs, one by one, by hand. The plane getting lighter. 5 seconds. Bombs falling. Then boom, boom, boom. Explosions. Chaos below. Nadezhda immediately dove to gain speed. Restarted the engine. Vroom! Engine noise back. Gave it gas. Escaped. Below, German soldiers in a panic. What happened? Where did that come from? They hadn't heard any plane engine. Just whoosh. Then explosions. Searchlights sweeping the sky. Nothing visible. 30 minutes later, it came again. Whoosh. Boom. Another night witch. More bombs. Germans opened anti-aircraft fire, but shooting at the sky. No target. All night long, again. 40 planes in rotation, raining bombs on German positions. Germans couldn't sleep. Stress, fear, paranoia. Morning. Night witches returned to base. All 40 planes. Everyone came back. First mission, success. But the real war was just beginning, and what happened next would make the Germans truly terrified. Nadezhda Popova was born in Ukraine in 1921. As a child, she watched planes. "I'll fly too," she said. At 15, she joined an aero club, learned to fly. 1941, the Germans came, bombed her home. Her brother died. Nadezhda swore revenge. When Marina Raskova announced the all-female regiment, Nadezhda immediately applied. Accepted. 588th Night Bomber Regiment. She was 19. After her first mission, Nadezhda knew she could do this. Second mission. Third. Fourth. She flew every night. Sometimes 3 missions. Sometimes 5. Sometimes 8. One night, she flew 18 missions in a single night. Takeoff, bombing, landing, refueling, reloading bombs. Takeoff again, 18 times. When morning came, Nadezhda couldn't walk. Her body was bruised from the vibrations. But at 10 p.m., she flew again. Dangers? 1. German searchlights. If caught, anti-aircraft guns hit you. Po-2 canvas, 1 bullet it burns. Tactic, zigzag flight, quick dive, hide in clouds. Nadezhda was caught once. Searchlight locked on. Anti-aircraft fire everywhere. She dove to 150 feet. Searchlight lost her. Escaped. 2. German night fighters. Me-109S, VBW-190S. Very fast, 370 miles per hour. Po-2, 94 miles per hour. But there was an advantage. Po-2 flew so slow, German fighters stalled. Their stall speed was higher than Po-2's max speed. Tactic: if a German fighter approaches, slow down, sharp turn. German passes, can't turn back. Nadezhda escaped German fighters 3 times, used this tactic every time. 3. Winter. Minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Open cockpit, wind hitting your face, gloves freezing, face going numb, eyelids freezing shut. Once Nadezhda landed, her face completely frozen, couldn't speak. Mechanics thawed her with warm water. 4. Plane damage. Po-2, canvas and wood. Bullet hits, hole opens. Nadezhda's plane was hit 42 times, wings riddled with holes. Engine damaged. Every time, mechanics repaired it. Canvas patches, wood replacement. She crash-landed 5 times. Survived every time. 1945, war ended. Nadezhda Popova, 852 missions flown. One of the highest flying female pilots, Irina Sibrova, flew 1008, the highest. Awards: Hero of the Soviet Union, Order of Lenin, multiple combat medals. After the war, Nadezhda married another pilot, had 2 children, worked as a flight instructor, died in 2013 at age 91. In her last interviews, "Flying as a night witch was the proudest moment of my life. It was terrifying, but we were free. We were in the sky." At first, the Germans didn't take the night witches seriously. Women in wooden planes? Ridiculous. But after a few weeks, they started to fear. German Soldier Diary, August 1942. "They come every night. We hear a wooshing sound, then explosions. We can't sleep. We're going crazy. Who are these?" A German officer wrote a report. "Enemy female pilots conducting night raids. Their planes are small, wooden, unarmed, but effective. Soldiers' morale failing. They call them, Hexen, witches." The word Hexen spread. Nachthexen, night witches. Why witches? Because the wooshing sound, wind through canvas wings, sounded like witches sweeping on broomsticks. And the women were invisible in darkness. Just sound, then explosion. It seemed supernatural. German command became concerned. 1943, an order was issued. Any pilot who shoots down a night witch will automatically receive the Iron Cross. The Iron Cross, Germany's prestigious war medal, normally very difficult to earn. But shooting down a night witch, instant reward. This showed how effective the night witches were. The Germans were so afraid of them that they created a special reward for shooting them down, but very few German pilots could shoot down a night witch. Because the Po-2 was so slow, German fighters stalled, and in the darkness of night, they were nearly impossible to catch. The most incredible thing about the night witches, how many missions they flew per night. Normal bomber units, 1 mission/night. Night witches, average 6, 8 missions, night. Busiest nights, 18 missions. How? Because the Po-2 was small, light, fast turnaround. Procedure: takeoff, 10 p.m. Fly to German lines, 15-20 minutes. Cut engine, drop bombs, 5 minutes. Return, land, 15-20 minutes. Refuel, reload bombs, 10 minutes. Take off again. Total 1-hour mission. Night is 6 hours dark, you can do 6 missions, but some nights were longer. Some women flew 80, 10, even 18 missions. Nadezhda Popova, about the 18-mission night. "We started at 10 p.m. Last mission was 5 a.m. We never stopped. We landed, refueled, reloaded bombs, immediately took off. My hands were shaking. My eyes were closing. But we continued. Because we had to stop the Germans. The mechanics and armorers, women, worked at the same pace. When a plane landed, it had to be ready in 10 minutes. Pump fuel. Load 6 bombs, each 45, 65 pounds. Check engine, send pilot off, 10 minutes. Then the next plane arrives. All night, 40 planes rotating. Hundreds of refuelings, bomb loadings. Winter nights were harder. Minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit, bombs freezing, hands sticking to frozen metal. Mechanics couldn't wear gloves. Delicate work, fingers needed. Hands freezing, bleeding. But they kept going. When pilots landed after missions, they couldn't walk from the vibrations. Po-2s were very rough aircraft, shook in turbulence. 18 missions, body destroyed, but no rest. 10 minutes later, flying again. 588, the Night Bomber Regiment, 1942 to 1945, 30 women killed, each one a story, each one a hero. Most tragic loss. Katya Ryabova, Nadezhda Popova's best friend, navigator. She was 18. July 1943. On a mission, their plane was caught by searchlight. Anti-aircraft guns fired. Katya was hit. Nadezhda tried to land the plane, but Katya died. Nadezhda. That night, I was the loneliest person on Earth. I thought I couldn't fly without Katya. But the next night I flew. For her. Another loss. Yevgenia Rudneva, navigator, also an astronomer. She loved the sky. April 1944, on a mission, German fighter caught her. Plane went down. Yevgenia was 23, her friends. She flew among the stars. Now she's among the stars. Total 30 casualties. 588th Regiment started with 80-plus crews, 40 planes. 30 dead equals sign approximately 15% casualty rate. Low compared to other Soviet bomber units because Po-2s were small, flew at night. Radar couldn't detect them. But every loss was painful. May 9, 1945, Germany surrendered. War over. Night Witches were in Berlin. Final missions were over Germany. Total record, 23 000+ missions. Combat sorties, 3,000+ tons. Bombs dropped 200,000 flight hours. 30 women, killed 23 women, awarded Hero of Soviet Union, most decorated female unit in Soviet military history. When they returned to Moscow, they were welcomed as heroes. Parade in Red Square. Stalin applauded. Propaganda posters. Even our women fought and won. But a few years later, they were forgotten. Why? Because when the Cold War began, Stalin sent women back to traditional roles. War's over. Now stay home, raise children, work in factories. Night Witches had no propaganda value anymore. Soviet history books barely mentioned them. The West never knew. During the Cold War, Soviet heroes weren't known in the West. Night Witches, the bravest women warriors in the world, completely unknown. 1990s, Soviet Union collapsed. Archives opened. Stories emerged. Historians discovered the Night Witches. 2000s, books were written, documentaries made. 2013, Nadezhda Popova died at 91. Her final interviews published. The world finally learned about women who flew 23,000 missions in wooden planes. Today, 2025. Night Witches are finally recognized. Books, films, music, Sabaton's Night Witches song, monuments in Russia, museums. But perhaps the most important legacy is this. Every time a young girl wants to be a pilot, when someone says, impossible, the Night Witches are remembered. They flew in wooden planes at night, unarmed against the Nazis, and they won. You can, too. 23,000 missions, 3,000 tons of bombs. 30 heroic women killed, 200,000 hours in the sky, all in wooden planes, all at night, all fearlessly. If this story moved you, don't forget to subscribe, because sometimes history's greatest heroes are the least known. The Night Witches proved that.